The problem, there's 80 weapons in Splatoon as of right now, and there's way more coming in the future. The solution, let's get some pro players, let's force them to teach me how to play them, and suffer in ranked battles. But you know what I can't solve? My channel not being at 500. So subscribe and you can be part of future streams or videos. I mean, I know this, but the people watching this don't. Which is the weapon you actually main?
Well, I use Hero Shot mostly, but for those who don't know, I can lead all rounds, so I certainly can play T-Tac or different shooters, different classes, but I do like to stick to vanilla.
Yeah, the kids, as we talked before, like synergy-wise, how good do you think they are? Like, how does the bomb like work with the special and the main weapon?
Right now, the best thing I can say for the kit is it's simple, but if you know how to use its kit properly, it's powerful because it has suction, nice with its range, I believe, and vigor explosion.
Yeah.
It's good for poking while your weapon. If it pulls the enemy closer, then it's good. It's simple. They'll probably be taking chip damage from the bomb. Then you can take it with the 3-shot. The Trizuka also works well with the kit in that it does match its sort of range and its aggressiveness, but it can still stay back.
Yeah, it's like a really fun kit, I feel like.
Yeah, that's one of the best things about it.
And then there's T-Tech, which is just that.
Just Tri-Strike Simulator.
We talked a bit about this while you were explaining everything, but what's like the playstyle you usually go with this weapon? What's the go-to playstyle? Well,
when going with this, I typically have in mind a semi-aggro playstyle, sort of like mid-ground. Not quite Slayer, but definitely can.
I saw a lot of discussion on the Splattershot if it was a Slayer or not. People were discussing that. At like what end are you in that like discussion? Do you think it's like a real Slayer, or is it more like
it's
hybrid? I don't know.
It can slay if need be, but to be able to do that effectively, you need experience. Otherwise, it's more so middle ground. Better for picking off people solo rather than rushing in against the whole team. I usually use. I have my kit on actually right now. A Pure of Intensify Action, Pure Sub-Saver, and Pure Special Charge. Because in mid-line, you can't guarantee you're going to be alive long enough to get special, so the Saver helps with that. The Sub-Saver really works out right now, where the Suction Bomb would be around 75% of the tank, it only takes around half, so it's good for keeping the nice reliable bomb and shooting combo without making run out too fast. And the Intensify Action just lets you be quicker and dodge easier and get those 3 hits you need in before you get taken out first.
Yeah, true, because this game is like actually much more movement like focused than Splatoon 2 was.
Yeah.
So it's pretty useful to have that. Okay, we already talked about the gears, which is something I actually struggle a lot with. Weapons, I go to, I don't know what the thing called on the top of my head, but like you can like search gears for weapons. I struggle with that a lot.
Yeah.
Do you like have any more comments about like the gear? Like you were saying the main like things, but what are like some other things like you should have on Splattershot? On
Splattershot, I don't know most of the meta gear, I'll say, because I'd like to point out my gear actually assists the way I use Splattershot the most, rather than fitting with whatever the meta deems the perfection. But if you're going for Splattershot's intended use, then it's good. The Sub-Saver is good regardless to save on the Suction Bomb, so while you're pushing, you can have that extra firepower constantly. I've seen a small amount of main saver on there, because gear kits nowadays, it's a lot harder to point out, oh yeah, this ability, that ability, because it's now like a mishmash of things. But
yeah.
I know there's certainly less focus on special charge and saver, and more focus on just powering up the main weapon, because if person is going for the Slayer playstyle, they're not gonna be able to use Trizuka up close that much.
And as for like techniques, like specific techniques used for your weapon, like some weapons, I don't know like about much about the Splattershot, but like there are some weapons that like do the dualies, like rolling mid-air and whatever shenanigans. Does like Splattershot have anything like a special technique you could use?
Well, there's not much to Splattershots, and there's no like special mechanic really, because it's part of the shooter class. It's just meant to be like the most basic level of weapon, but certainly with Splattershots 1, 2, 3 hit, it's a lot easier to take just one shot, strafe around a bit, take another, and take a third, without having to keep firing like constantly. So it's better to stay on your toes, but still keep the hits in and get the splat easily. Yeah, Humpback.
Even if they're not good.
I mean, Humpback Pump Track right now, it was a good re-addition into the game. Like, they didn't actually butcher this map like some others have been.
So, like, for example, now that we're playing Tower, what's like your first thing that you do while playing like this mode? Oh my god.
Yeah, that's kind of an example of not quite like I was definitely pushing objective that time, but because I didn't do too much with it, like I backed up a little bit before continuing the push. That's the application of the 1, 2, 3 there.
I see someone brought a Kraken to tower control. No, I don't know if that's the best addition.
Yeah.
After the nerf that happened.
Yeah, the best way to deal with Kraken is to just disengage, which is perfect for this weapon actually, because it still has fair range. I'm holding up front over here a little bit just to keep distraction mainly, which falls more on the mid-ground sort of play, because we already have fair lead, so it's better to just keep that passive-aggressive sort of play. There we go.
Sort of like close to I don't even know what the role's called. I know like how it's spelled the
Splatling.
The one that Teta does, where like they just distract people. I don't know how to like, say that. Oh my god, yeah. What?
Yeah.
My brain did like saw like a NES, a K, an R, like no.
Yeah, it's skirmisher. More so, less about getting the splat, more so about taking the opponent's time pretty much. You rush in, just have a couple fights, whether you finish them or not, is sometimes up to chance, sometimes up to whether or not you want them to end. So it's not quite take them all out. It's, like I mentioned, it's just distraction roll, which is
okay, god.
It's sort of the other part of this weapon because of its good offensive power. Like if you know how to use it, that's the main thing I keep going back to with Splattershot is if you know how to use it, it works. Like that last match.
And I clearly don't. I got 3 kills.
Yeah, I had.
Oh my god! And you got 15, see that?
Yeah, that's definitely more on the Slayer side of the Splattershot.
Yeah, so would you say it's like a high skill ceiling weapon or not?
It's not high skill ceiling. No, like not not like that. It's because, of course, it's the first weapon in the game you get aside from Junior. It's like the first you can buy, but the actual high level of play is definitely not a super high skill ceiling, but yeah, it's skill ceiling for the weapon. It's good for beginners when it comes to just having a weapon to start out and get you familiar with the game. But when it comes to using it skillfully, effectively, and taking advantage of all its strengths, that certainly needs some time using the weapon to become familiar with it. Like I keep going back to, it even mentions, Sheldon even says that if used effectively, it works well, which is my favorite thing. I'm glad they point that out, just right there.
Oh my god.
That's...
Yeah, we're getting this Sheldon quotes and everything.
Yeah, it's one thing I always kind of kept in mind when going into Splatoon 3, because I know in 2 it wasn't like as much focused on competitive scene, but in 3 I'm definitely stepping it up a bit, so it's important for me to know those sort of things.
If you had to rank the Splattershot on like a meta tier list ranging from like F to X tier, like the letter X,
yeah,
where would you put it?
Well, considering current meta, it's definitely B plus A range, because it's certainly, when talking about someone who knows the weapon inside out, knows like how to use it properly, it's definitely good and can contend the meta, but with the way it is right now, it's not like top tier play. Yeah, during the Legend of Zelda Splatfest, I actually had a moment where I tricked someone into believing I was out of Trizuka shots because I went back into my ink as if to hide. So once they pushed, I popped out, used the last shot on them, and got the sneaky splat.
See, that's like a fun technique or trick.
Yeah,
with this.
And it's hard to predict as well, because you can use Zuka just right out of the jump, and you can obviously use it out of Squid Roll like a lot of other weapons as well. So you can act as if you're just using your normal weapon, so long as they haven't seen the Trizuka at its startup. So if they can't count the shots, they can't determine how many you have left.
Thank you for like coming to this.
Yeah, no problem.
Like it was so fun.
Yeah,
we have this, and
it was nice to be here. You know.
If you want to do more things in the future, you could always hit me up.
Yeah, 100%. But as you know, I do have a long list of weapons I am familiar with. So if you're ever missing a weapon or two, you let me know, and I'll see what I can do.
Yeah, wait. Wait. Were you the one that sent like 10 weapons? Oh yeah.
Yeah, I had the long list.
I was like, what? How? How is it even possible? Yeah, there's like some that like you're the only person that have. Like I still have some weapons missing. Even with the like hundreds of replies. It's crazy.
Yeah, that certainly comes with the way I'm doing things for like actually playing is I'm making kits based off like gear kits based off my little OC beans. So with that, with building the kits, I try to play the weapons that I believe they would play. So it enables me to try out plenty of different kits, plenty of different classes, and get a feel for a wide variety of weapons, which obviously helps in competitive scene because it ends up making me a sort of wild card.
Well, thank you for watching. Now tell me, what weapon do you want to see next, because I'm gonna do this with all the weapons, hopefully. But yeah, again, please subscribe. I want to get to 500, and liking and comments also helps me boost the channel. So if you want to see more of me, I'd recommend that. Okay, well, bye.